We're back at it again with another Battlefront update. Another week and another weekly news update covering all of the latest news surrounding EA Battlefront. This week we're gonna have a special episode, but on something that I've been pretty passionate about for years now, and that is the offline modes in Battlefront 2. Or more so now, the evolution of them thanks to fans. Because yes, the first major mod for the game has recently been announced, and it's nothing but historical on how far and beyond it truly goes. Not only adding new faction reinforcements without replacing any of those already in the game, but also adding Ahsoka as a hero and even the creme de la creme of it all, having modes like Extraction and Heroes vs Villains to be available to play in offline too. And yes, I know, I'm a little late on making this video because I was out of town for the last couple of days, but based on the history of my channel, I just had to cover this one way or another. And before we get into any of that, but a quick reminder, as if you do like these type of videos, then do remember to give it a like to show your support for not only this update series, but also the content within it. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Now, for anyone who's followed this channel since 2017 knows that I was the very first person on YouTube to get the offline players movement going. Because after seeing how DICE lied about giving us an offline skirmish mode and going backwards rather than forwards in terms of the offline mode offerings, in response to that, I made plenty of videos back in 2017 trying to get more attention to this topic. I mean, heck, I even got one of my videos criticizing DICE on not adding skirmish mode to Battlefront 2 taken down at the time by a false community guideline strike. All due to one DICE fanboy who didn't like the fact that I was bringing light to this issue. Fortunately, of course, that video got reinstated and it got people talking. As I always made it clear back then, yes, putting priority to the online multiplayer is great and all. But the offline offerings can't be ignored either, especially when the game's multiplayer dies off and the servers get shut down, because then at that point all we'll be stuck with is very limited and boring offline modes. Eventually this message got through to DICE, and after 2 years of keeping the offline movement going strong, DICE finally gave us something in offline supremacy and co-op modes. And don't get me wrong, while those modes are nice to have, we're still of course missing other great modes that could have been added in as well. However, as we all know now, that won't be happening anytime soon or just anymore, as DICE is now fully committed to working on Battlefield 6 only. And the future of Battlefront 2 has now been left to the fans. While for the most part fans have been creating consistent cool and unique appearance mods, they didn't really add all that much to the longevity of the game, as in order to play online with those mods, nothing drastic could have been changed but the visuals. Which you know is fair and understandable, but that's kinda the point. The modders were mainly focusing on making visually pleasing but limited mods for online rather than going full out on offline. Which, let's face it, is now really where the future of this game lies, just like with the original Battlefront 2. Luckily, one modder by the name of Mophead took things into their own hands and began working on a mod known as Instant Action Improvements, which, as the name implies, look to improve instant action plus arcade mode in the game. Mophead did a lot for this mod and managed to add the Rebel Honor Guard and Clone Republic Gunner to the game as reinforcements. They also had plans to add even more content, but unfortunately ended up leaving the project due to personal issues. However, this story does have a good ending, as well-known modder Cade has since taken their place on the project, and the mod has gone in a direction that I never imagined it would go, but yeah, you just have to see. Recently, Cade even posted a community transmission-like post detailing the new update coming for the mod called the Heroes vs Villain update. The upcoming update will contain a new hero in Ahsoka, 4 new reinforcements, as well even making some previously online-only modes like Extraction and HVV now finally available to play in offline too. For the new hero, like I said, we'll be getting Ahsoka, a project that Mophead originally started on, but now Cade is finishing. He's even improved upon what Mophead did, and the results truly look fantastic. As Cade's community transmission reads, Ahsoka will be able to throw her lightsaber forward, damaging enemies within its path. As it travels, she'll still be able to use her second lightsaber to block incoming enemy attacks. Using both lightsabers to deal high damage, she can utilize her agility to lunge forward towards a hostile target. Leading the charge, Ahsoka can increase her movement speed to close the gap between her and an enemy. And in addition to her, we'll also be seeing 4 new reinforcements joining the Rebel Honor Guard and Republic Gunner that were previously in the mod before. The Empire will now get a Shock Trooper who will be using a DLT-19 during combat. The Shock Trooper will also be able to use fire canisters that administer an electric shock, dealing damage over time with the shock launcher. Then we have the CIS, which will get 3 new whopping reinforcements in the Combat Magna Guard, Ranged Magna Guard, and the Aqua Droid. The Combat Magna Guard focuses on close quarters combat, wielding an electro staff to pick off troopers or duel with Jedi. The ability set for this reinforcement is the most unique to date according to Cade. While damaging opponents, the Magna Guard will charge up a power cell that can be utilized to support itself in different scenarios. Every time the combat variant uses one of their abilities, its power cell drains until it needs to deal more damage to enemies before activating any abilities again. The Ranged Magna Guard, on the other hand, will also be pretty unique too, in that they'll have an anti-personnel rocket launcher rifle, an E-60R missile launcher, and also have their own personal Sith probe droid, which will patrol a surrounding area, pinging that area for any hostiles. The Aqua Droid, on the other hand, will have an overcharged arm blaster, allowing the Aqua Droid to fire with increased strength and speed for a short time. It will also be able to track enemies using sonar scan tech, pinging troopers and marking their location. Then in brutal situations, the droid can repair itself, gaining health and some temporary armor too. But that's not all, as there will be some new appearances added in the mod too, like Obi-Wan Kenobi getting his Mandalorian disguise appearance that was used to infiltrate Mandalore when it was under Darth Maul's rule, and not to mention the Ewok reinforcements will also now have 6 appearances to choose from too, ranging from scarves to skeleton helmets. Last but not least is of course the additions of Extraction and HVV to offline, especially the latter of which will offer even more customization options like having the full control of the heroes or villains that spawn in the game and how many of each do spawn. Overall, this is a huge step for the future of Battlefront 2 as the focus of modding now goes from online to offline. And with DICE having no longer anything to do with the game, then it's fantastic to see fans like Cade create something like this. That could very easily be confused with an official patch too, just because it looks that good. I don't know about you, but I for one am very excited for this mod's release and what's to come next, especially seeing how far Battlefront 2's offline offerings have come since 2017. Cade has already informed us that this update is by no means the end for the mod, as they still plan to add even more, like introducing strike to instant action, split screen compatibility, and adding even more reinforcements from the original and sequel trilogies, such as the Rebel Commando and the New Republic Security Droid. And well folks, I've said it back in 2017 and I'll say it again. Offline is and will be the future of Battlefront 2. Until the next time, that will do it for your Battlefront update. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to not only support it, but also keep up with Star Wars news, gaming, and canon lore released every week. And consider following me on Twitter and Facebook to never miss out on the latest Star Wars content. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.